fun.
South Texas Amateur Tour Podcast, The Power Hour, with your hosts, Travis Silkowski, Michael Tomanuelian, Casey Graham, Jason Bird, and Brad Gilbert.
Good evening, South Texas Amateur Golf Tour. MD here. Good evening. Hope everyone is doing well. Welcome to the South Texas Amateur Golf Tour's Power Hour San Pedro MatchPlay recap. Guys, we're going to talk tonight about the San Pedro MatchPlay, talk about how the weekend turned out, highlight our winners, and we're going to get to talk a little bit about what's coming up on tour. Should be a relatively quick show for you tonight, but excited nonetheless. Guys, we're going to let Travis and Brad take it from here as we talk about the weekend. Everyone, let's get into it. Brad, how we doing?
Woo! What up, everybody? How's it going? Brad, you and me tonight, huh?
Yeah, right. The Wizard of Oz gets to go back behind the curtain today.
I know, right? Shout out to MD. He's not feeling the greatest, but he's going to be here producing the show behind the scenes. He's going to stay on audio with us. That way, when we talk about San Pedro, he's there as well. But Bradley, San Pedro MatchPlay in the books. Point standings really changed. We'll talk about that in a second. And right around the corner, we are 10 days away from March 1st. What's up?
I love it.
You're not muted, MD.
Oh.
Sorry. That's
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Giving
And
some artwork.
oh, it's great. I love Kiddo's art. And we are 10 days away from March 1st and the world premiere of Matchup Mayhem 2.0, an STX Am Tour documentary. And I couldn't be more excited to share that with the San Antonio golfing world and tour golfers on March 1st. And we're going to talk about that a lot at the end of the show tonight. But before we get to March 1st, we got to talk about February 15th and 16th at my favorite facility, San Pedro driving range in Par 3.
And I was thinking we were going to get away with warmer weather this year for some reason, but that did not shape out. It was cold.
Man,
Super.
two different days for sure.
For sure.
Saturday in the afternoon was nice. People played in
Was
shorts. And then the cold front came through, and it got cold. It got cold.
I'm gonna be honest. When I got there at 5:30 that morning on Sunday, I was like, I'm glad I'm eliminated. I'm glad I don't have to play in this weather. So kudos to all those guys who had to play in that super cold weather.
And it was a grind.
Sure.
It took a minute. This was the first time that we started on Saturday afternoon instead of Saturday morning. San Pedro driving range in a post-COVID world, I haven't said the word COVID in a minute, in a post-COVID world is the busiest facility on the Alamo City Golf Trail.
That was nuts.
It is crazy the vast differences of the demographic of golfers that come to San Pedro on a Saturday. I mean, it is amazing. It is amazing. What a cool facility the trail has with San Pedro driving range. And this was the first year we started in the afternoon on Saturday. And that gave the trail the busy, beautiful Saturday morning. And the tour had no open play and exclusivity on the par 3 course on the chilly, windy Sunday. So it really worked out. It really worked out for everybody. But Brad, what was it like for you as a player not teeing off until, 3:40 on Saturday afternoon?
Yeah, it was definitely a difference. This is only my third year. I think it's third year playing the match play. And before, like you said, I believe we teed off early Saturday. We started the last couple of years. And I think even maybe before that, y'all started on Friday. Is that right?
Yeah, okay. We have started on Friday night before, way back when.
Okay, right on. But yeah, it was definitely different. For me personally, it was good because my son's soccer game was middle of the day Saturday. I was able to go coach them and see all that. And I made it with plenty of time to warm up, so that was perfect. But yeah, like you said, it was just a little bit different. It's a little bit different vibe this year. I could definitely get used to it for sure.
I liked it. It made the Saturday morning super casual for the setup committee. Yeah,
sure.
Took the whole morning. It was nice, and then Sunday evening at San Pedro on the patio, when you get down to about 12 guys left in the bracket, it turns into a wait for a lap to get the match in.
Yeah.
Winner moves on. Wait for that lap, winner moves on, right? And
if
I know you were out earlier than you wanted to, and you made a joke about the weather just a second ago. But as the grind went on Sunday, did you really want to be playing?
No, for sure. I was definitely joking about the weather. I was extremely disappointed to be eliminated after two. I mean, needless to say, I played against two of the better golfers on tour, Dustin Weldon and Hunter John. Actually, I beat Hunter John last year in the match play, so he was able to get his revenge.
Get a little revenge? That's cool. Yeah, I like that. That's cool.
It was pretty cool, yeah. So I'm happy for him. He's a good guy. Both really good guys. I really enjoyed playing with them. But yeah, man, I was super bummed. I wanted nothing more than to grab my clubs and go hit balls on Sunday. But like I was telling, me and Austin Perryman were actually texting it earlier today, and I was telling him it's like it's so much cooler when you have friends on tour and they're playing well, and you're following their progress through the bracket. I mean, it made for a really fun day for me just watching everybody.
And the maintenance crew on Saturday mowed and rolled the par 3 greens in between the end of open play and the first match play tee time. So I thought that was a really cool touch. What were the putting surfaces like starting at 3 o'clock on Saturday versus first in the morning?
Yeah, they were smooth. I mean, like I said, in my 3 years of playing the match play, there was probably more grass on the greens this year than I remember seeing, as far as, being green and healthy. But yeah, they were quick, man. They were quick, and those
Some
greens
gnarly
aren't,
hole locations.
those greens aren't very big, but some of those hole locations were pretty treacherous. So it was a
Yeah,
pretty good challenge.
some of those hole locations were a little quirky, and then some of the tee shot distances really changed from day 1 to day 2. Like hole number 7 comes to mind, how that was a 200-yard shot and the longest shot on Saturday to pitch and putt, 85 yards on Sunday?
Huge difference. Yeah, huge difference. I didn't get to play it on Sunday, obviously, but I could just driving around Marshland, I could tell.
Analysis, in-depth analysis, not play.
And on, I can say on number 2, I've never seen that tee box. I didn't know that tee box was over there on number 2 on Saturday.
That's a cool one over there.
That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. And then just thinking about some other ones. Number 8 played way up on a Saturday. I believe it moved back a little bit on Sunday.
Yeah, back a couple on Sunday. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one. And then I only got to play 9 on once on Saturday. That's a tough finishing hole to try to close out a match.
Well, let's pull up the brackets. MD, can we see the 2 brackets together at the same time, or is it just one at a time? Okay. Okay, consolation bracket and the...
Yeah, I have consolation and I have the winners bracket separate, unless you want to look at it through the handwritten one. But
handwritten one. Let's pull up the championship bracket, the winners bracket first a little bit. We'll talk about the first 2 rounds. We'll talk about the winners, and then we'll look at the bottom and see how it came back up. Brad, as you look at this bracket, it looks a little jumpy. It looks a little tough to read when it's all filled out. Champ flight's top left, first flight's bottom left, second flight's top right, and third flight is bottom right, separated by handicaps. You can see that next to everybody's name. Why don't you give us the one surprise on the on each side of the bracket? One surprise from champ flight and first flight, and one surprise from second flight, third flight.
Okay, but yeah, I want to preface all this by saying I'd like to refer back to the podcast from last week or the preview where I was talking about, some of these matches being really good, and sure enough, every single match that I was talked about was good. And I'm really glad that I picked Tyre Net to go all the way. I'm really, really happy that my pick made it all the way through. So, all right. So let's just start with third flight then. I'm gonna try to zoom in here on my phone. Greg Richter. We knew he was gonna be a force to reckon with, but him beating Willie Nichols so bad. Willie Nichols has gone a long way in all the match plays that he's been in. So it's not surprising to see Greg do so well, but I thought that was a surprise, beating Willie Nichols, because he's a tough competitor.
Yeah, I agree.
So second flight, again, you're putting me on the spot with all these because they're so tough to choose from, and all these matches are so good. But my boy Charles Romero beating Scotty Williams, I had a feeling that Charles Romero was going to go a long way, if not all the way. And it was really cool to see him work his way through this whole bracket. You see his name right there on the top right, all the way through. And it's not surprising to me, but that might be one of the surprises.
Okay, I love it. How about the left side of the bracket? Champ flight and first flight.
Give us one surprise over there that you think stuck out to you.
Yeah, the biggest surprise is Dustin Weldon over Brad Gilbert. I mean, who saw that? No, I'm just kidding.
I know, right? Somebody picked Brad Gilbert to
I'm just kidding. No, but really, we all knew Casey Graham and MD was going to be a heck of a match, and one of the matches to watch. And it's just, Casey admitted that he wasn't playing his best. here coming into the tournament. So seeing him get that victory over MD, that's pretty surprising, in my opinion.
I like it. I like
Yeah.
it. I thought the players that Casey took down on his way to the winners bracket final really caught me. And it was just one after another. It was MD.
For sure.
It was defending champ Andre. It was Dustin Weldon, who had just rolled through Brad and Mark Kacheski.
I mean, if he can beat those two, he's unstoppable.
Let me say this. My thought process was Casey is trash off the tee. If he's on the green, he's deadly. It's not if he just shot a 90. He's not. When he chooses to swing irresponsibly like he does, you stand a good chance. Casey was making some of the most responsible swings, some of the smoothest swings. And
yeah, Casey came up to me. He's like, I hit knockdown 5-iron on hole number 6.
Like he played tee shots so responsibly that if you didn't hit the green and you didn't hit it to within 10 feet, you were in trouble.
Well, that's very mature.
Yeah.
And then I mean, Casey beats MD in the first round. Defending champ Andre in the second round comes back with an early morning cold tea time and knocks Dustin Weldon down.
Yep.
And then goes right back out and knocks out Jeremy Jaramillo. Not knocks out, but knocks him down into the consolation.
Yep.
And then Casey hands Ty Arnett his only loss of the tournament.
Yeah.
And that's when Charles Romero ended Casey Graham's streak right there, and you can see it on this graphic.
Took him to 9 holes too. Charles Romero took Casey out on hole number 9. So.
And if I look on the right side of the bracket, the Roland De La Garza, 4 wins in a row, really kind of nobody picked him on the podcast last week. We probably all picked Danny Puckett to beat him in that second match, and he just kept going, and he pushed that push cart with his head down, and he walked with authority, and rattled off 4 in a row, and then another one down below in the consolation bracket. But you can see here that the 4, and MD will show the 4 flight cookie winners coming up here.
Yeah.
The victory cookies this week, or this past weekend at San Pedro, went to the 4 winners bracket flight winners. I said that really weird. The winners of each bracket up top came all the way out. Casey Graham in champ flight, and Ty Arnett
in first flight, and Charles Romero in second flight, and then David Felsing in third flight.
And then you can see their final places in relation to where they stood. So it really correlated in this tournament. Cookie winners, of course, are going to be one from each flight, but that's also the way they finished in the final point standings as well. So that is certainly one possible outcome, but not the only possible outcome.
Yeah, that's really good playing. I mean, if you can make it all the way through that first bracket, that championship bracket, man, that is good playing.
That's awesome. Then MD, can you pull up the consolation bracket for just a second?
Yes, I do also want to say I did pick David Felsing last week.
Oh, okay. Way to jump. I like that.
If anyone
could have picked Ty Arnett, but you went with David Felsing. Okay, that's fine.
Well, okay. And here's the consolation bracket. So you can see each round in the consolation bracket represents a loss up on top. So if we look in the kind of the middle top center of this graphic, you can see Ty Arnett there. That's where Ty Arnett and David Felsing came down into the consolation bracket. Ty Arnett gets Roland De La Garza, has to give up some big handicap in the next two matches. So Ty giving strokes to Roland and David Felsing in the fourth place match.
Mm-hmm.
I think Casey gave Ty one stroke in that third place match. And then Ty advanced back up. But this graphic has our places on it. Kent Simnett and Jeremy Jaramillo tied for seventh place. Logan Armga and Roland De La Garza finishing tie fifth.
David Felsing, standalone fourth place in the middle of the screen. Casey Graham down in the bottom center finishes third. And that kicks Ty Arnett
back up to the championship
graphic. And we'll switch over to the other winners bracket.
And that's where we have
Charles Romero and Ty Arnett playing in the finals match, round number one, which Ty Arnett won,
giving Charles Romero his first loss, making the finals match round two an elimination match.
And for the first time in the history of the San Pedro MatchPlay, a consolation bracket player flipped and won the first match and won the second match. This is the first time a consolation bracket golfer won those last two matches. First time.
That is crazy. Yeah.
It has been flipped 3 or 4 times, and I was on the phone with Casey confirming this at 7:20 tonight just to make sure. And it's the first time that the consolation bracket winner has won the 2 matches. It was awesome watching Ty play with those wedge shots.
Yeah.
That just dropped and stopped.
Yeah.
It was so cool to watch.
Congratulations to Ty Arnett and Charles Romero, first and second. We, of course, have a picture of Ty and Charles on the website as well.
Much later in the night. This is early in the day. Everybody's still bright-eyed and chippy and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed in these photos. Probably 4 or 5 hours later, Ty got to play Charles in the championship matches, which started just before 10 p.m. on Sunday night, and the second match ended just after 11 p.m. on Sunday night.
It's crazy. And I will say that, Ty, having to win so many matches, obviously the first time it's ever been done, because you just have to win so many matches. But with the cold conditions, Charles, I think he won all of his matches right out, and so he had to wait for Ty to get through that bracket. And I want to say he waited about 4 hours. What do you think, Travis?
I think it was more than that.
Maybe 4 to 6, 5. I don't know, but so Ty was out there, taking people off the board, getting the swings in, getting it adjusted to the colder temperatures, and I think that's really what helped him in the championship flight.
Charles was sitting in that cold metal chair for a long time.
Yeah. But he came out, and I watched both of those matches. They played at for the championship, and man, he played really well. He played a lot better than I would have, having to wait that long.
Casey's gonna laugh at me, but I also stayed the whole way, and got to watch that down the stretch, and it is so cool. Watching it go in the over and over and over the nonstop phase.
Yeah,
I like that. I think that's really cool to keep the winners next on the number one tee as much as possible.
Yeah.
And shout out to the tour golfers, because that is not easy to do. It is not easy to do. And You have to plan food and beverage. You have to plan your snacks a little differently down the stretch because if you're not Charles Romero and Casey Graham and Ty Arnett and David Felsing up on top, and you're coming through the bottom, the volume of rounds you're playing is 2 to 1, at least 2 to 1. It's probably a little bit more than that. I was rooting for Logan Armga for a second because he had the most rounds to play to still stay in. He had the most rounds played. Lost early and then kept winning. That's always fun to root for.
Yeah, for sure. And it's good to see him back in form. He's been struggling here lately. I remember last time I played with him, it seemed like he couldn't miss. So it's good to see him back in form.
It is, and I know we dogged on him on the podcast last week a little bit, and he came up to me on Saturday and said that was his motivation. It was awesome.
Nice.
Girlfriend caddy for him. Hung out. Yeah, it was cold on Sunday too.
Yeah.
And
I believe Ty Arnett made a comment about not getting any respect on the podcast too, and I was like, "What are you talking about? I picked you to go all the way." No, I'm just kidding.
and Sabrina wanted me to say that she also picked Ty in the ambassador text thread.
That's true. I was just kidding. I didn't pick Ty.
So I picked David Thomas.
Yeah.
And David Thomas, we actually have a picture of David Thomas. David Thomas had a hole-in-one on hole number 7 on Sunday. It doesn't look cold in that picture. I guess it's not cold when you have a hole-in-one, I guess.
Right. Yeah. He said one hop and in.
One hop dunk in a tournament on a par 3 course. Brad Gilbert, does that count? That counts, right?
Absolutely.
Heck yeah. That is the 5th hole-in-one in this event, and they're all on the same 2 holes. Yeah, they're. I love it. It's great.
That's awesome.
2 on hole number 5, and this was the 3rd hole-in-one on number 7.
Man.
Jeff Warren picked Brad Gilbert, and Brad Gilbert promptly rewarded you with an 0-2 out.
You knew better than that, Jeffrey. That's funny.
But all in all, the staff at San Pedro was awesome. The food and beverage at San Pedro is awesome. It's fun to watch the turf quality of the driving range tee line deteriorate through the day on Saturday.
Quickly.
Man, there's so many golf balls hit on that driving range. Just like a bomb went off. I made a joke that there were no organic life left in the tee line at 9 p.m. on Saturday. There was nothing was alive.
And people were still coming in.
And they were still coming and hitting balls. I mean, it was full. It was full. The entire tee line at San Pedro was waiting line from noon until 10 p.m. on Saturday.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was amazing.
Unbelievable.
It was awesome.
Is that how it was when you were there, Travis? When you back in the day?
I want you to know that San Pedro was the busiest. Was the busiest customer-wise, right?
Yeah.
I always said that San Pedro printed 4-to-1 receipts of Almost Basin, and Almost Basin was the busiest at the time.
Sure.
Right? But maybe not the same dollar value, but four buckets of balls sold to 1 greens fee, was
interesting.
So San Pedro is always the highest foot trafficked. If a busy day on a golf course is 200 rounds and a busy day at San Pedro's 300 buckets and 150 rounds plus a full restaurant, it's just probably 5-to-1 or 6-to-1 tenders at the point of sale.
Yeah.
So was San Pedro hopping like that for me? Shit, it certainly seemed so, but it definitely wasn't. It is the place to be right now, and it is a really, really cool facility, which is my segue to wrap up the San Pedro MatchPlay. And our next event is at San Pedro as well. It is the March 1st world premiere event
of Matchup Mayhem 2.0. BG, give us a rundown of March 1st, and I'll chime in.
Yeah, so I mean, it's gonna be a full day. I'm not sure what I'm more excited about, watching the documentary Matchup Mayhem 2.0 or putting on the new putting course at San Pedro. But from 1 to 5, we're gonna have Callaway Club Fitting out there. I believe we have a link in the newsletter where you can sign up to get fitted.
That is correct. The only place where you can get the link is in the newsletter, and I think MD said there was only 1 or 2 spots left. So it's almost completely full.
I believe we have maybe 2 spots left right now.
And that link is in the newsletter that went out tonight. Subject line, podcast tonight.
Yeah. So
we absolutely have to celebrate MD's birthday. This whole thing, we chose March 1st because it was MD's birthday. We were supposed to travel. For MD's birthday and play golf somewhere. And MD gave the tour back his birthday off weekend to host Matchup Mayhem 2.0. So yes, absolutely MD's on there. He is going to kind of be the MC celebrity of the day. So he's going to be mic'd up most of the day. We'll see Facebook Live of MD on the putting course. Callaway Demo Day, of course, will be there from 1 to 5. Closest to the pin on the simulator. All day as well. Lots of ambassadors will be there, so you get to hang out with your ambassadors. The sponsors and partners will be there. Riley Bauman with Team Bauman, a financial advisor, is going to be welcomed to Tour Partnership that day. So we'll get to meet Riley, who is an old of the tour, and I've known him for a long time. He was the Adidas rep for the Alamo City Golf Trail 15 years ago, and sponsored the uniforms for the 2015 South Texas MatchPlay Challenge team at River Ridge. So it was really cool to see his career in the golf industry shift to starting his own business. And I work with him on personal stuff, and I can't wait to share that with tour guys at San Pedro on March 1st. I know Micah Carroll's going to be there with Cairo Services talking about what he does. I know we're going to have some presentations from the Cake Place and more for sure. I know Ruben Caraballo is planning on being there with the trail. So he's going to set up a booth that says San Antonio Golfers Facebook page comments here. So he'll be able to talk to you face to face about anything you want about the trail or the San Antonio Golfers Facebook page. So that should be fun. And then at 6 p.m., the program changes to Danny Puckett's team at Global Fairway Logistics and the world premiere of Matchup Mayhem 2.0. Bradley Gilbert, walk us through it. I know we're talking about having a short show tonight. We wanted to talk about San Pedro and give that its due. That match play is such a cool event. But it's on to March 1st. The biggest non-tournament event that we put on every year and will be this year, better than ever. It's going to be so cool. Give us the rundown, and then MD, you chime in, give us the closing thoughts for you about March 1st and what everybody can look forward to. And then we're going to play the trailer for Matchup Mayhem, and we're going to say goodnight on February 19th.
Cool. Well, I'll just keep it short. I last year when we did the Matchup Mayhem 1.0 premiere, I thought that was one of the coolest events. And this year it's only going to be bigger and better. So I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm so excited. MD, what can everybody look forward to during the day? If they want to come for just the film, how do they know when to get where?
So we're going to have ambassadors around all day. If you do want to come just for the show, we are going to be hopefully having it playing inside and projecting outside, so we should have 2 locations for it. And it'll be first come first serve on seatings, but we will direct you to where you need to go to participate and watch. But for the rest of the day, you, myself, Brad, Jason, Casey, Laura, Sean, the usual suspects will all be there. We're all going to be kind of manning different stations, walking around, and doing some different things. So, again, we're going to have the club fitting, which is going to be really cool. But I encourage everyone to at least make your way over to go check out the new line of equipment. We're going to have a couple.
It's good.
It's good. We're going to have a couple of launch monitors there as well, for some additional launch monitor information for those people who are practicing. And we're going to have some competitions with that as well. And then we're going to also have the Putt Mayhem getting on the new putting course, which is going to be insane. And then obviously get some time at the simulator and do a CTP there. In all, it's going to be a really, really hectic day. It's going to be a super fun day.
Lots of moving parts, lots going on for sure.
But it is without a doubt going to be the event to be at. It's going to be the coolest, biggest, craziest event tour is hosted that involves no scorecards.
Heck yeah. And everybody tune in next week, Wednesday night at 7:30, normal time for the Power Hour podcast. It is going to be the March 1st Matchup Mayhem preview podcast. We're going to have a couple guests on. It's going to be really, really, really cool show. We hope to have some more Matchup Mayhem teasers. We'll be talking to Danny Puckett that night, where his team's at with the premiere and really what we can expect on length and kind of some feel and some insights. We're going to have Philip Torturo, not Tortino, Torturo. The putting course at San Pedro, designer and architect and installer and creator, on the show that night too. So we're going to get to see tons of photos of that and how did this all happen, and that's got to be a great story. And then we'll talk to some other partners and some other maybe team members as we go through the Matchup Mayhem preview show next week, Wednesday. That's February 26th at 7:30. It is going to be a cool show. Congratulations, Ty Arnett, Charles Romero, Casey Graham, David Felsing, Roland De La Garza, Logan Armga, Kent Simnett on your awards this past weekend at the San Pedro Triple Points Double Elimination Match Play. I forgot Jeremy Jaramillo there and his 7th place. That was the last gift card I missed. Shout out to Laura Lewis and the Cake Place and more. I love the victory cookies. I love trophies. The San Pedro Match Play is my favorite regular season event. It really, really, really says we're not afraid to do new things and give them a try. And holy crap, that one was cool and it stuck. I love San Pedro. Guys, everybody, thank you for watching. MD, great job running the show behind the scenes. I know you weren't feeling well. Thank you for sticking it out. Brad Gilbert, everybody, from the front seat of his Tesla truck. Hashtag Doge. MD, without further ado, let's give everybody the trailer for Matchup Mayhem 2.0. We will see you all next week, Wednesday, February 26th, here on the STX Am Tour Power Hour podcast. Thank you for watching, everybody. Have a great evening.
This is probably the biggest golf event that I've ever partaked in. I've been around golf my entire life, and this is probably the most fun that I've ever had in my life playing golf.
I just kind of told myself, just go out there, play your game. I want to come in and be better than I was last year. Whatever happens, happens. I love playing with these guys. I've met a lot of new friends. It's just kind of wild.
You know what? I got to be honest. This morning when I left in my uniform, my wife was waiting for me to say goodbye, and I got a little emotional. I worked really hard to make this team and to actually now have it be the day, and all the emotions kind of hit me as getting ready to walk out the door.
So they say that pressure is a privilege. All this is a privilege, right? You worked so hard to do this. So you got to just play golf. Take breaths, have fun, enjoy the moment.
There we go.
Started playing on this tour since maybe 2017. It's been a long way coming for me because it's my first time making the team.
Match play is just such a fun format, and you don't get that throughout the year.
I love match play. I love playing against head to head with people. So this event is definitely my favorite one.
Riverside is the first course that I played on back in 1973 or 74.
Probably the best I've seen those greens in 40 years.
I'm happy with the design. I hope it plays as hard as it can play, to be honest.
Course is in great shape. Lots of grass everywhere. You get in trouble, you're in trouble. It's good stuff.
We play all year long for moments like this. There's still a lot to play, but every point matters right now.